I am told that we're going to have Bill Kristol. Think he should have been here by now, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, he's not here yet. I don't know. It's like people don't want to talk to me or something. All right, we do have Bill Kristol. So before we go to the great founder and editor of the Weekly Standard, I want us both, Bill, you and I, to watch this.
No, if you want to buy health insurance in the United States and you don't work for an employer who provides health insurance, you've got to go into the exchanges now almost universally. So they were able to drag a certain number of people in, but as you say, very few of them were previously uninsured. Some of them aren't going to pay now. The quality of health care, the choice of doctors and so forth isn't good. The whole system is a big government top-down nightmare, in my opinion. Really should be repealed and replaced. The good news is conservatives have come out with different proposals to replace. Bobby Jindal had one this week. Jeff Anderson and I have an editorial in the Weekly Standard today laying out, referencing a somewhat different proposal, I think actually a little bit better one, more competitive one, a winning strategy to repeal Obamacare and replace it with a good market-oriented system. So let's have the debate. I mean, I just think, again, maybe I reacted too strongly, but I was so put off when President Obama said the debate is over and history won't be kind to the people who stood in the way. I mean, that's what you say about, history, about, I don't know, people who are fighting Nazis or something, not about people who are debating public policy in the United States of America. And it does fit in with that other big story today of the CEO of Mozilla who was forced to step down for contributing, I guess, $1,000 to a proposition in 2008, which enshrined the traditional marriage in the California Constitution, which was supported by 52% of Californians at the time. It wasn't like a crackpot position. No allegation at all that this man discriminated against gays, had an unfriendly work environment for gays, nothing of that nature. But because he exercised his rights as a citizen, his free speech rights and his political rights to participate as a citizen in our democracy, the huge campaigns mattered against him. And I guess they basically forced him out. That is not a good day for liberty in America, really. And I would say the same if it were the other way. If it were a gay CEO who was in favor of all kinds of things that I'm not in favor of, or a left-wing CEO or whatever, it's not right.
I am so glad you brought that because I could think of no more dangerous story, notwithstanding everything else that's going on in the world and all the stories that are out there, Bill. But that story where this man became promoted to head of Mozilla, CEO of Mozilla, and because 6 years ago, he wrote a check supporting Prop 8, which, as you pointed out, passed in California, in a liberal state of California, defining traditional marriage as a man and a woman in the California state constitution, because he supported that with a $1,000 check and has no inkling of any anti-gay bias or treated an employee bad because he was gay or anything. They ran him out of his job. And when I say they, with all due respect, you say must have a big campaign. These are groups. There are groups out there, as you well know, that do that. They make it appear that the public is outraged. There's going to be a boycott. Your business is going to fall apart. You better fire this person. You better change your policy. And it's nothing more than a handful of professional agitators. And it's blackmail. They did it to Jan Brewer, the NFL, Apple, all these companies threatened her because of letters they get and phone calls they get and emails they get. And this is as scary as anything I've seen in this country in a long time, what happened to this man.
And it's a moment of truth, I think, for the people on that side of that debate to stand up and say, wait a second. And Andrew Sullivan did say this, I think, yesterday. Wait a second. He said, I'm for same-sex marriage. I'm an advocate and an activist for it. But we can't be harassing and hounding people out of jobs because they don't agree with us on this issue, especially, as you say, when it's not like they don't agree and are imposing their views on some company and insisting that everyone that they hire has to have the same views or anything like that. So it's really crazy, and it's just the politicizing of everything, the notion that we're going to go around now selecting what products to buy based on the personal political views of the CEO. I mean, the degree of chilling of free speech and of political activity, I think, that goes on with this. And it reminds me also, Harry Reid was just this week, I think, last week denouncing the Koch brothers.
Oh, no, well, Billy does it. He does it every day. Every day he's denouncing the Koch brothers.
Using the term un-American, I mean, I grew up, I think both of us grew up, where, that was sort of the example of McCarthyism gone off the rails, of what was a legitimate worry about communism and communists, becoming kind of demagogic and damaging in a way to our liberties, because you don't want to, people differ with you about foreign policy. You don't call the other classified un-American. And the House Un-American Activities Committee became kind of this kind of thing we're moving away from in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And suddenly the majority leader of the United States Senate, not just some columnist or some pundit or someone like you or me, the majority leader of the United States Senate is calling private citizens who seem to run their businesses in quite an impressive and exemplary way, who are exercising their First Amendment rights to participate in politics, doing so in a pretty transparent way, really. They're un-American. I mean, that is also really dangerous, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Reid is becoming McCarthy, but even worse.
Yeah, it really is. McCarthy is. I totally agree with that.
Crazy.
And where are the liberals? And where are the liberals saying that? I mean, where are the people saying, "Wait a second, I don't agree with the Koch brothers. I want them to lose all their fights. I'm supporting the liberals who are fighting back. I'm out there raising money to support candidates against the people the Koch brothers are supporting."
But
yeah. Harry Reid, you can't say that. Where is the single Democratic senator?
And you know how many just in New York? I read a whole litany yesterday. Not only the $100 million wing at Columbia Presbyterian or New York Presbyterian Hospital that's being built in their name, and the left is protesting, but to cancer research, hospitals in this city, kids in this city, causes in this city, museums in this city, hundreds of millions of dollars just in New York they've contributed, and they're evil and they're un-American. It is, and you know what the word they love to use, and you brought it up before. If you're against gay marriage, you're on the wrong side of history. If you're for the Koch brothers, you're on the wrong side of history. They throw that around now like it's commonplace.
Well, history has become old days, I suppose. You know, you're a heretic. You're violating the word of God. I mean, that is their version of God, but it's religious people have actually learned over centuries. The huge majority of them, at least in the United States, to tolerate people of other religions or of no religion. Liberals are much less tolerant these days of people who disagree with them about what the right side